there, comic book friends. I'm Travis.
And I'm Ethan.
And this is
Monster Comic Reviews.
That's right, and this is for comics for March 6th, so that's almost 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks.
Even though we get our books weekly. But that's a whole other story. Anyway, so we're going to start right out with
Animal Man issue 18.
So, last time I was complaining about maybe there not being consequences. I don't think that was a review you were on. Whether there was going to be consequences for this, for the actions as they basically reverse time and go back to almost exactly where they left from. I mean, just like within hours of when they left. This one didn't feel to me like it had consequences of the whole Anton, craziness in the future, horrible world and whatnot. But obviously bad stuff happens in this book to set stuff forward. Not the person I expected to die. I kind of figured someone was going to die from when we were at Emerald City Comic-Con with what Lemire was kind of saying. That it sounded like Lemire's intentions is to kind of bust the family up in a bad kind of a way and drag Buddy Baker through some pretty rough stuff going forward and exploring fame and all that kind of stuff. The other things he wants to explore, and so he needed a tool to do that. And I think, unfortunately, the son was the tool to get what needed. I thought the comic was okay. I think it's a bummer that Cliff is dead.
Yeah.
Spoiler for those of you who haven't read it yet. Sorry. Because I like the whole family dynamic thing. That was one of the fun things about when the comic first started, was just kind of the whole, But I think things were screwed anyway, whether someone died or not. So I don't know if they needed to kill Cliff to have what's going to happen.
Yeah, but because it really did send the point home, though.
Oh, it does. You're right. It does. Because I don't think they were going to go back to being the, happy, giggly, goofy family that they were before. Ellen's not going to just kind of blow off the Animal Man stuff that he does anymore, because obviously this was so serious that, she's done. Of course, I don't know how it's going to work, because obviously, what's her name?
Maxine is the Avatar of the Red.
Is still the Avatar of the Red.
You can't get away from that, so.
Well, I don't think so. I don't think you can just give it up. Not at this point.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What did you think of the book?
What? I didn't mind it at all. I was okay with Cliff dying. I mean, it still sucks, but I wasn't, upset. I wasn't like, why?
Yeah.
It wasn't like, with Damien. But, spoiler, Damien dies.
If you don't know
Sorry,
that, buddy.
I know I just ruined your life, but, yeah, no. I mean, I think it's kind of a bummer that it's going to be not the family-oriented book anymore. That's kind of unfortunate, but I'm excited to see what comes up next.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, because Lemire says he wants to explore, fame, what does that mean, and all that kind of stuff. So it could be a really interesting book as far as that goes. But I thought this issue was kind of mediocre, though, as a whole, though, really. It just kind of, it didn't have any go oomph to it, really. And so the only thing you can really talk about is the death, and that's kind of a
fun subject.
Well, it wasn't that. I don't know. I mean, I know he died, quasi-heroically or whatever. I don't know. It just didn't. It was that.
Yeah.
And if the book continues to be, I'll probably go and drop it, because I've got a lot of books now, and so I need to start, and more books coming. So, yeah. So I'd give it a 3.
Yeah, I think I'd give it a 3 too.
It was just average. Yep. Okay, next we're going to talk about Batwing, issue 18. What'd you think?
Well, I wish they wouldn't have, blown the crap out of Matu, because I liked him.
Yeah.
I really like the fact that we're still dealing with this whole police corruption thing. That's interesting, and the repercussions of that. I was really happy to see David just absolutely lay into those cops.
Right.
I was just like, thank you.
Finally fed up with it.
It's waiting for that to happen. I'm just like, you guys are such jerks.
Yeah.
So I just beats them up. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. But, I don't know. I hope Matu recovers. I don't think he will, though.
I don't know. Of course, we know that in, next issue or the issue after that, we get supposedly a new Batwing.
Really?
Yeah, there's a new writers. Justin Gray and Jimmy Palmiotti are gonna come on and do the writing. The April, the April is a WTF thing for the entire thing, and it's got the gatefolds covers that you open up, and the cover has a double cover. On that one, it's got the old Batwing on it, and you flip it open, it's got this newer, slimmer, tighter, more muscular, darker looking, completely armored Batwing, supposedly. So I don't know if it's David remodeling himself, because by the end of this issue, David's saying, "Screw it, I tried to walk the high road, the high road superhero road. That's not me, and it cost all these people stuff. It cost me my friend and all this stuff. Screw that. I'm now going back to soldier, old boy soldier David, where I'm just gonna
kill people. Yep.
And he's got the reserve equipment."
I love the fact that the message for it is bring this bomb to your next gunfight.
Right, he shows up at where the reserve equipment's hidden at, and there's a note from Mantu there, and it says, Mantu, and it says, bring this bomb to the next gunfight.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. So, we'll kind of see what happens. I don't know if this is going to be the end of David.
Or what.
Right. But obviously his base of operations and all that kind of stuff is totally screwed at this point. So it'd be curious to see if
what all happens.
If Batman and Batman Inc. is going to refinance after this disaster. Not a bad comic.
Yep.
What would we rate it?
I think I'd give it a 3.
Yeah, it was an average book. I'd give it 3 also. So what's next?
Next up is Batman Detective Comics issue 18 by the whole Requiem.
Right. Not that I think any book is really going to address the whole Damien Death thing as much as probably like Batman and Robin is, for instance.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the whole Emperor Penguin story. I mean, like I said, I loathe that name, Emperor Penguin.
Emperor Penguin. Hey, at least he didn't call himself Emperor Cuckoo, okay?
Yes,
I was like,
true.
He was like, do you know what a cuckoo is? Are you familiar with the nesting habits of a cuckoo? Well, yeah, right?
I like that, though.
I'm just like, well, yeah, it was, but I appreciate that he's still Penguin and not Cuckoo because...
Right.
I mean...
This whole attack that he's been staging has been pretty ingenious, really. I mean, using Joker to start out with now, and he's pretty much, the Penguin's out, but of course he's taken everything from the Penguin and is basically let the Penguin know that. I mean, Penguin shows up at his own house, and the guys that have been hired by the Emperor Penguin pretty much slap him around and kick him to the street because it's not his house anymore. The panels you were talking about, that's great, where he calls up to talk to his... Ogly. Yeah, he calls up to talk to Ogly, because Ogly is his right-hand man, and Ogly, asks him if he understands, if he knows what the nesting habits of Cuckoo is. Well, the Cuckoo flies in, throws out the... all the other birds, eggs, and chicks, and lays its own, and takes over. Mm-hmm. And Penguin's like, well, yes, he clears the nest, and there's this pause panel, and then the next panel, it's like, you can see that, and the art was great because you could see it cross his face, his face. That what you didn't know, kind of thing. And so he's all, pissed off. Of course, Batman wants to take him out, but can't figure out to take him out. I don't really care for the dialogue that Batman spiels at him. That was a little heavy and preachy, even for Batman. And of course, Batman gets this opportunity to go after him. Later on, because of course he's trying to blow up and kill and destroy and wreck the Ogly and the iceberg because if he can't have it, no one else can either, kind of a thing. We got Zaz, who's the loose. They've kind of changed his background some, but it's cool that they've introduced yet another of the Batman rogue back into the DC New 52. Zaz. I don't think he's nearly as sinister as what he was like in Streets of Gotham, for instance, when Paul Dini was writing him there.
That's also awesome. This Zaz is just kind of, actually, I can't. It just seems kind of goofy, really.
Yeah.
I mean...
It's hard to take him serious. I mean, the Count thing doesn't make as much sense as what it did before.
What? I know. We don't even know why.
Why is he carving himself up and doing the Count? Yeah. It doesn't make a lot of sense right now.
Yeah. He's just so... I don't know, maybe it's because they made him more of the raving lunatic, less of just the psychopath.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that's it. Maybe it's just the fact that he's using the fancy little curvy owl knife.
now.
But,
yeah. We'll see. We'll see where that goes. Of course, at the very end, you've got the Langstrom Man-Bat serum.
Yeah.
How's he going to use that?
That could be interesting.
It could be really interesting. That could be really cool. So, really digging the art. Story's pretty good in it. You know, bits and pieces that, you know, make me kind of go, What would we rate this book?
I think I'd just give it a 3.
I'll give it a 3 also. Yep. Okay, next we're going to talk about Dial H number 10.
This issue was pretty interesting. The centipede. Centipede proceeds to be a badass.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
But
he's also playing this other game, too.
Yeah.
He's obviously got his own thing.
Agenda.
Really has his own agenda going beyond the Canadian military.
I love watching him walk around with a big bug mask.
Yeah, he never takes it off now.
Yeah, I know.
Which I don't blame him, because, I mean, it lets him see
both
the spectrum and whatnot. Craziness ensues. We figure out what the problem is with the other dial and the other guy that's all messed up because the dial he's using, it's a sidekick dial. Which is kind of a cool concept.
Yeah.
So they acquire that dial. They send the guy off to the hospital because he's really mentally screwed up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really taking a toll on him.
Yeah.
So they decide Nelson volunteers to use a sidekick dial because he thinks that Roxy is probably smarter and more organized than he is anyway.
That's probably
so they go out and bust and do crime busting type stuff, and she continues to work on making sure he remembers that he really is Nelson. So he doesn't lose his personality
because he keeps losing his personality.
Right.
Heap of trouble.
And of course the sidekick he is uber powerful. The sidekick he is probably more powerful than the hero that Roxy is.
Yeah.
Thing and whatnot.
I have to wonder who is the helicopter, not the helicopter, but the battleship guy that he's
pretty uber.
Yeah.
Obviously. And of course, at the end of it, we get this bombshell that happens at the end of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I always thought there was kind of a little bit of tension there anyway. Obviously, Roxy's losing herself.
Yes.
If, because she takes her mask off and whatnot, and she's this, of course, younger, heroine and whatnot, and she's not commanding him to do anything, but
still,
we get,
kind of weird. That'll be interesting to see
what the fallout. Yeah, that's I mean, the comic is really interesting. I mean, it really has gotten interesting.
Yeah,
I'm really glad that we rode out through those rough issues that were there, early on, because it's just a really complicated and cool story going on.
I think I'd give it a solid 4.
I give it a 4 also. I really wish that they would find the inker that was inking Ponticelli's work there at the end of
Frankenstein.
This artwork is fine, but
it was much better.
It was really top notch in the Frankenstein. That's for sure. So, what are you talking about next?
Next up is Earth 2, issue 10.
Oh yes, Tower of the Fate. We explore more into Dr. Fate. We don't quite actually get Dr. Fate in this. I think there's some cool artwork in this. I mean, I guess to some degree it's pretty typical. Ooh, you got a magical place, a magical tower, something like that. And of course, so it looks like an Escher print. That's all the upside down. That gets used so much. I would kind of like for somebody to do something different as far as that goes. I mean, it looked cool. It was cool artwork. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, it's like, oh, gee, we see this all the time. I mean, this is like straight out of Labyrinth and straight out of a dozen other kinds of things and whatnot. So that was kind of, we get a little more back story about the characters and, how Hot Girl got to be Hot Girl and stuff. What?
I did not like the first half of this book.
Yeah.
At all.
Kind of bland and preachy.
It was boring. Yes. The dialogue.
Just going on and on.
God.
Well, I think the dialogue was bad. It
wasn't good.
Okay.
I did not. It was just okay. Also, what's his face? Wizardy guy. Didn't realize he was a guy until they said Mister. I was just like.
Right. Yeah, and I'm still. And even then, I was reading, going, "Is it a mistake?" Yeah. Same here. I thought.
What?
He's a very effeminate guy.
Yeah.
A very effeminate, evil witch sorceress looking guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
I mean, okay, whatever, but.
Yeah. Because what's the name? Wonton or Wonton?
Yeah. Oh, it's Wotan. It's Wotan. Because I remember going, Wotan, that's kind of funny, because in Mouse Templar, the big owl god is Wotan.
Oh, okay.
But still, yeah, no. The first half of the book, the second half of the book, once they're in the tower, that was pretty great. I was kind of hoping that we'd actually get to see the beast, because the way he was talking about it, I wasn't sure if the tower was the beast itself,
right. Or there was a thing,
or if there was a beast.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, there is.
Yes.
It is pretty awesome looking.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what about the very end of it, where we get you got the Green Lantern stuff.
Yeah.
We find out that maybe they weren't after him; they were maybe after.
They were
Sam.
after Sam.
Yeah. And of course, he decides he does need help.
Yep.
And who are you going to go to? Supposedly world-class tracker. She supposedly can find anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of her powers that goes along with, Hawkgirl goes along with her wings and stuff.
Yep.
So that might be interesting to see that part of the story too, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So what would we rate that book?
I think I give it 3.
I give it a 3 also because the beginning
Just
of it,
3.
The beginning of it was pretty rough.
Oh man.
Yeah. Okay, so next we're going to talk about Green Arrow, issue 18.
Oh, this book is so much better than it was.
Yeah, me and you really haven't talked Green Arrow since the new Green Arrow's kicked in.
Oh man.
So what'd you
Not nearly. Well, actually, it's not bad at all. It's actually good, and that's universes, galaxies apart from the previous Green Arrow. That was just a Green Arrow that's not 2-dimensional.
Yeah.
Depth. Didn't realize Green Arrow could have that anymore. Thought that was a prerequisite of him being rebooted, was no personality. Yeah, I like it. I like the story. I love the art. Big surprise.
Yeah. Armando, or I can't remember his name. The colorist from I, Vampire is now on this book, so it's being colored by him. So to me, it feels like it steps up a notch from the last issue.
Yes.
As far as that goes.
I love the art. That it makes the book so much better. It just does.
Yeah.
I mean, just the way that.
Well, it definitely gives it atmosphere. I mean, it definitely gives it a gritty atmosphere.
Wow, Komodo and his daughter are creepy.
Yeah, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Yeah. Oh, my daughter, snip your fingers off.
He's like, oh, maybe, he's like, I have to go watch my daughter's gymnastic lesson. I'm just like, well, maybe he'll be one of those, like, villains who's secretly a villain, and then, he has the normal-ish life. Right, as a single parent, at least, No, I mean, I think that would have been, not that this isn't good not good, but well written.
Right.
Not that this isn't well written, also, but I think it'd also be interesting to have him be, this super ruthless assassin, and then have his one weakness, which was his daughter.
Right.
But obviously, his daughter can take care of herself.
It seems seemingly that way. Well, at least she's got the attitude that pain and suffering is
seeing
an
as
issue.
she doesn't flinch when he just kind of like pops an arrow through what's his face's head.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think of this storyline though? The whole going back to the office and finding out there's this whole secret room and the dad on the island and Emerson and his dad were obviously shooting bows and doing weird stuff.
Yeah. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying. I'm enjoying the comic for what it is and whatnot. I'll continue to say, is it my Green Arrow? I don't think it's my Green Arrow. It's not the Green Arrow that we read, 4 or 5 years ago.
It's my Green Arrow until he has chin hair. 5 years
well, even with that chin hair or no chin hair, he doesn't have the same.
Yeah.
Perspective
Yep.
on the world that the other one did. I mean, even the which you have never read, the Longbow series and whatnot, which was a much more grittier Green Arrow that Mike Grell wrote and whatnot. He still had some ideals that he championed and seemed to be part of what he was. And right now that isn't there because of course he's in the bottom of the
punk.
Well, he's kind of on the bottom of the barrel. I don't think he's a punk right now. He hasn't been a punk in the last 2 issues. He hasn't had time to be that. Now it's very serious and stuff. And so I'm really enjoying it. Excellent book. I love the look of it. I love the feel of it. I'm beginning to think, unless whoever the writer is on any book that Andre Sorrentino's on, the artist, unless he's on a book that's got somebody writing it that just writes really, really bad dialogue or something, or the story is just completely stupid, I'm not like the book, I think, just because the way he draws the stuff, I love that feel. You know, I mean, granted, would that make sense in a Superman book? Maybe not.
No.
depending on what kind of story they're
true,
I guess.
true.
But he just has a level of atmosphere that is very, very cool. So
yes.
I'm enjoying the book. I think this was another excellent issue, building what's going on and whatnot. I would give it a, I don't know, 3.5, 4, somewhere around there.
Yeah, like a 3 or a 4. I can't quite tell which one.
Yeah. Okay, what are we talking about last?
Okay, last up for this half is Hellboy issue 4.
Hellboy in Hell.
Hellboy in Hell.
Issue number 4. Love this comic.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, we're touching on some stuff that me and you don't know a lot about because it's prior history, but there's enough there for us to go, oh, okay, to accept what they're telling us and go, okay, this was this guy at this point, whatever. There's panel work in this thing that I completely love. Like where the guy talks about the fact, the guy who obviously was a monster hunter at one point and then gets, pitched into hell because of somebody that he fought. We can see that little bit of history to get that kind of a thing.
Okay,
and
so that's
guy. Cool. But hold on a second. But what I really like is some of the panel work that's there. Like when he says, "Oh, this woman one time told me that this hunt would be the death of me," and they don't tell you who the woman is really, but they show like one little panel of her face and another panel of some flowers and stuff. I love that. It just gives us a sense of who this person might have been and an atmosphere of them.
Oh yeah,
and then
it gives you guidelines to their history, but still lets you decide on your own.
Right. It's just incredible storytelling with very few words and just the panels there to show us that. I just thought it was excellent. Now, what were you gonna say about the guy?
Okay, so the guy, right? You see him. He's following the cult of Ra, and he's old. And he's got like that beard and white hair. Okay, he looks exactly like in that other book that we read. That was BPRD.
The D,
where the guy picks up the Ra sword.
Right.
He looks exactly like the guy that shoots them to death.
Right.
That might just be me,
right.
but he does. I mean, he shows up and he's got that white beard.
I don't think they're the same.
I mean, because it's even the same cult. They're both. He's going after the cult of Ra.
Yeah.
And
so he shoots them up by accident. But he's in hell though.
Yeah, I know.
He can't have shot them. He's been in hell since what? 1920 something.
But I mean, and the
I don't think he was shooting up the Colorado. I think he was shooting up the BPR people. I think that he was there. I think he's still part of that guy's part.
Yeah, he's. I think that was kind of an after image almost of him.
Yeah,
still
maybe. I think you're putting too much.
You're
tying too much together. But that'd be interesting if that's the case.
Yeah. So Hellboy did murder Satan.
Yep, he killed Satan. Doesn't really remember doing it, but he's being basically told that's what he did. He's got 3 things he still has to do.
Yeah.
Sounds like this other character is going to take on one of them. Everyone's going to take on one of them. There's two other things, but hey, let's just let him relax for a while. So now he's basically in Pandemonium, which is a vacant city, basically. A few odds and ends spirits in it and whatnot. And there he is. He can just relax and smoke some cigarettes. And
I love Death Riding an Elephant. That's an awesome picture.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. The artwork in this thing, Mike Mignola, is just outstanding.
Yeah.
The imagery is incredible. Every panel could be an awesome piece of art hanging on your wall and whatnot.
Yes.
Just absolutely beautiful. Is the story uber depthy? I don't know if it is.
I don't know.
But it's interesting. It's interesting. It doesn't spoon feed everything to you.
No.
You can put your own take on what's going on. Just an absolutely beautiful book. I think people should be picking it up.
Yeah.
Even if you have no prior knowledge of the universe, just jump in, jump into the deep water, and enjoy it for what it is, because it's pretty gorgeous. At minimum, pick up the trades, and the trades start coming out.
What'd you give it?
I would give it a 5.
Yeah, I think I'd give it a 5 too.
Really enjoyed it. This half of the comics you read, it's by far my favorite of this half.
Yes, I think it's just this half.
For the imagery alone, absolutely gorgeous.
Yep.
Okay, well that's it for this half. We'll be back in a little bit with the second half. Bye.